This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 3176, 8 Signs You're a Perfectionist by Mia of SheDreamsAllDay.com. And I'm your narrator, Justin Malik, reading you blogs every single day of the year, but today being a flashback episode since I'm a bit under the weather. So with that, let's get right to it as we optimize your life. 8 Signs You're a Perfectionist by Mia of SheDreamsAllDay.com. Being a perfectionist is a true struggle because, truth be told, there is no such thing as perfect. Still, so many people have an ongoing daily battle with wanting to be and feel perfect. If you've built your life around wanting to be perfect, you'll be waiting indefinitely. Perfectionism is the devil, the mean best friend of productivity, and it wastes so much time. So how do you know if you're a perfectionist? Well, if you resonate with any of these signs, it might mean that you have been bitten by the perfectionism bug. What is perfectionism? The Google defines a perfectionist as follows: refusal to accept any standard short of perfection. I define a perfectionist as being someone who is constantly under his or her own control and struggling with having a fixed mindset. Perfectionism is a mindset that is in no way serving you or your dreams. When you're showing signs of being a perfectionist, you have super high ideals for yourself and feel as you'll never meet them. Perfectionism is when you avoid the feeling of shame and failure. Number 1, you have the all or nothing mindset. The all or nothing or fixed mindset is irregular with perfectionists. This basically means having opposite thought patterns than those with a growth mindset. A fixed mindset keeps you stuck in the same place, and you only act on things that are familiar from your past and situations that feel safe to your brain. There is no forward motion. A lot of perfectionists seem to think that since they are so into personal development, they have a growth mindset, but this isn't always the case. Wanting to grow and develop as a person is not the same as taking action despite failing, putting yourself out there to grow and getting results from it. That is what growth is. The all or nothing mindset speaks to the either or scenario. The outcome has to either be perfect or there'll be no outcome at all. You are either a success or a failure. This mindset puts enormous pressure on you, and it's definitely not serving you, dreamer. Number 2, you fear failure. Fearing failure is an undoubted trend for perfectionists. You fear any sort of negative emotion, really. Shame, self-doubt, failure, insecurity, any or all of these. You have a fear of putting yourself out there and going out of your comfort zone because you want to avoid the emotion that it will cause for you. Putting yourself out there means you'll be exposed, naked, and vulnerable. Perfectionists try to escape any signs of failure or situations that might put them in an uncomfortable situation where they won't be able to be seen as perfect. Number 3, you might have trust issues. Trusting other people, even the people you love, might be an issue for you if you're a perfectionist. This has to do with the fear of letting go of control. Once things are out of your hands and put into someone else's, you no longer have control of the perfect result. You have the idea that if something needs to be done perfectly, you have to do it yourself. Letting go of this need for control and learning to trust other people is crucial for overcoming perfectionism. It is one of the signs you're a perfectionist. Number 4, you should all over yourself. Perfectionists spend a lot of their time in shoulda, woulda, coulda land. You waste time thinking about things you should do versus actually taking massive action. The problem with being a perfectionist is that you know what's good for you and move the needle when it comes to your dreams and goals, but you don't execute on it because you fear an imperfect outcome. Therefore, you stay perfectly put in shoulda land, the key word being perfect. Number 5, you procrastinate. Perfectionism is just another term for procrastination. They're twins, and they go hand in hand. Yes, they also wear the same matching outfits. If you find yourself procrastinating over things that you know will move you forward with your dreams, you might have an ounce or two of perfectionism in you, especially if the result is uncertain. You procrastinate without end to find the right time to work on your goals. The secret is out of the bag. There will never be a right time to work on your goals. Procrastinating is just a miscongeniality of perfectionism. Number 6, you'd rather give up than not do something perfectly. When you have the all or nothing mindset hat on, you would rather give something up than not do it perfectly. This way of living kills dreams. Not only does it kill your dreams, but it also wastes so much time. You spend hours and hours trying to perfect something that cannot be perfected because, again, perfection isn't a real thing. Putting decent work out there is a must to drive you all the way to your dream destination. There will, of course, be bumps in the road and detours that pop up, but you have to start somewhere and you got to keep going. No one starts out being perfect, not even Beyonce. You have to be willing to fail, put yourself on the spot, and push past giving up on your dreams just because things ain't perfect at first. Number 7, you spot mistakes everywhere. If you are a perfectionist, you are also a true genius of spotting mistakes when it comes to yourself and other people. Perfectionists are so detail-oriented that you see mistakes where other people don't, and you make it your mission in life to uncover them in all situations. You smell flaws from miles away. This is definitely not doing you any good, dreamer. Most of these presumable mistakes are just imaginary to the perfectionist's eye. And number 8, you fear judgment. A perfectionist, you say? Then you likely have a fear of judgment from other people. Not only are you in your head a lot, but you also spend a lot of time thinking about other people and their thoughts and feelings about you. The truth is that people don't really think about you as much as you think they do. They have their own lives to live and problems to deal with. You being perfect is essentially the last thing on their minds. You don't need other people's approval to live your life. You just need your own. You just listened to the post titled 8 Signs You're a Perfectionist by Mia of SheDreamsAllDay.com. Thanks to Mia, I related to this, and while perfectionism can't be thrown out overnight, I find it helpful to see signs and to have the self-awareness to make the decision of where it might be limiting myself in my own life. Like with editing this podcast, for example, sometimes people point things out, like something was wrong with a sentence or a section of audio. That's super rare, and they're probably perfectionists too. But the vast majority of people, like 99.9%, either don't notice or don't mind enough to send me an email and realize that sometimes there might be a tiny issue and everything's going to be okay. As the final editor of all of our shows before they go live, I struggle with this because I want to give you the best possible audio experience I can, but it's also not sustainable because it's a ton of editing. I've done over 5,000 episodes across all of our shows, if you can believe it. And if I want to keep going, I'll need help, and that'll require some slack from me and less of a perfectionist mindset and more of a growth mindset. Maybe that applies to you too. But that should do it for today. Hope you're having a great day and start to your week, and I'll be back tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.